Yes, everybody, welcome back. It is the Fixture List. Joe White's called the Fixture List because we've got fixtures to talk about. And we actually have got fixtures and results now to talk about. And we are going to be talking about Bundesliga. Probably a bit of Bundesliga. But we're also talking Premier League. We're also talking La Liga. We are talking UFC. We're talking golf. And is there any horse racing on, Joe?
There's always horse racing
There's
on.
always horse racing.
There is horse racing on again, always.
Horse racing's come back.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about all of those things, and who knows where else we're likely to drift off into, because let's be honest, we ain't really got a roadmap, have we? So
fun, innit?
We're going to see where we're going. Now, at work, I don't know if many of you lads have done this, we've got something called Last Man Standing, where basically you all pick a team, you all put a couple of quid in a pot. If your team doesn't win, you're out, and if you go through, you can never use the team that you just used again. So you got to be quite strategic in when you choose to pick your Bayern Munich, for example. We did one a few weeks ago when the Liga Returned. It lasted 2 weeks before everyone was out. That was not a good one. We restarted it.
I think I would have done all right on that. Well, go on, finish off.
Wait. You think you'd have done all right in it? You didn't win it.
No, I didn't win it, but the first week I picked a good team. And the second week I forgot to pick a team. So I was automatically given bottom of the league. But I wouldn't have picked them if I hadn't forgot.
Oh, really?
And I think if I hadn't have forgot, I would have done quite well.
Right. Okay. So so Joe did not win. I went with Leipzig, and then I can't remember who let me down in the second week.
It was Leipzig who set you down, wasn't it?
Oh, they let me down in the first game?
Yeah, they drew.
Oh, yeah. Knobs. Yeah.
I got through the first week at least, but after that...
I went with Borussia Mönchengladbach last week. Yeah, it's wicked. I really enjoy it, actually. I went with Mönchengladbach last week, who had a right good performance. This week, do I reveal my hand?
Oh, you've still got a few days to change your mind if you want to.
I do. Maybe I'll put something out there. I am thinking... I'm ready to get hurt again, Joe.
No.
I'm ready to go with Leipzig again. Leipzig are playing Paderborn. Leipzig, not in scintillating form, but they do sit third in the table. I mean, they're not losing games, but they're not full stretch just yet, it seems. Paderborn, well, they've not had a good run since they come back. They've drawn 3 and they've lost 1. So I think that's who I'm going to be going for in my last man standing. Paderborn are just shit, aren't they?
Yeah. They've what, 19 points or something like that, innit? I think they're well off the pace. Although Leipzig, what is it? 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 wins, 2 draws. Sorry, since they've come back. So, and a draw is as bad as a loss for last man standing. So, bear that in mind.
Well, I just don't think Paderborn are going to draw against Leipzig. We saw what Dortmund did to them last week, which was quite frankly. That was an 18 rated, is what it was.
It was unfair. It was rude.
It was rude, yeah. It was like, it wasn't fair, and it was disrespectful. Just how much they battered them, yeah. They laughed at them. It was like Nelson going, ha ha. It was bad. Elsewhere in the Bundesliga, we do have Leverkusen against Bayern München. What's your thoughts on that? Where do you see that one going?
It's one of them where if you had to bet, you would say Bayern Munich, but I wouldn't be confident in a last man standing scenario where you say Bayern Munich have to win. Like I could see a draw in that one. I could see. I think Leverkusen are the second best form since coming back. I think they've 1-3 drawn
1-3 lost 1. Bayern Munich flawless victory. 4 wins out of 4.
I think they're a good team. Havertz has stepped it up another notch, hasn't he? He started off slowly at the start of the season, has slowly increased his sort of output, and then since coming back, he's battering them in from all angles. I wouldn't be surprised to see an upset there, just because also Bayern have won 4 in a row now, and as good as they are, they've not been like flawless this season, have they? So I wouldn't be surprised to see him drop points in that one.
No, I think a draw would be good value, or if you was betting on it, I could easily see you going for a Leverkusen win because the value would be there. Betting Bayern Munich, it's like betting City against Bournemouth at home. There's no value there. Like even though you think that it's probably going to happen, there's just no value there, so you're not going to back it. So if you're looking for value, I think Leverkusen could cause an upset there. I think, although you're going to need Bayern to go on a hell of a slippery patch now to not be champions. But that being said, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. And who knows what else she's got up her sleeve, from volcanoes to alien invasions. It could all happen.
We've got something crazy to look forward to in June. We must have. There was talk of a sort of a resurgence of Ebola, wasn't there? Like when Take That got back together, and you're like, what, that again? And you're like, yeah, that again. So that might take over the world just yet. But Bayern, it's not one of them ones where they're so guaranteed to win that you would bet on them winning, because they are playing against a good side. So yeah, maybe worth a punt on Leverkusen. On that.
And home advantage has been thrown out the window. This is something I'm very interested in seeing how this does in the Premier League. Home wins, which, as we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, was up at 51% in a three-way sort of results, is now down at 17%.
Really?
From the start of Bundesliga. 17% of games are home wins.
It's almost
mad.
Like it's it affects the home team more. That unsettled, we're not used to this feeling, is almost more distracting for the home side, because obviously 17%, that's, it's gone from being the overwhelming dominant result to probably the least, or one of the least favoured results there. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see when we've seen, the 90-something games from the Premier League, and I would guess a similar number from La Liga, Serie A, and then Bundesliga when they're done. There'll be some great stats that have come out about this period in football that is just unprecedented. Like we were saying the other week, if it stays at around 17%, I've got a feeling it'll be one of those where the early games, the first 5 or 6 fixtures, the home team's like, this is so weird, we're playing worse than ever, and then you kind of get used to it. I reckon we might see that home advantage maybe not come back, but there seems to be a home disadvantage at the minute that you can't imagine sticking around for too long. But yeah, pretty crazy.
Madness, absolutely madness. And that does lead us into our Premier League fixtures. We haven't had confirmed dates for many of the games yet. The ones that we have is City versus Arsenal, Villa versus Sheffield United, which is the 17th of June, allegedly. United are supposed to be playing Spurs on the weekend of the 20th. Going to Tottenham with the no home advantage, with everything else that's going on, would you be confident against Spurs?
Well, here's a point though, because
we're talking about us playing games. This is awesome.
I know, it's exciting, and it's only like 2 weeks away. Here's something that I would like to think about: is of any team in the Premier League, maybe in Europe, Spurs are potentially the most well equipped to play home games in an unusual circumstance, having played all of their home games at Wembley for the last year. So if anyone is equipped to sort of be like, this is our home ground, but something's not right, it might well be them. So I would like to see potentially how they fare at home. But I reckon, I've got a sneaky feeling that United are going to come out of the blocks just flying, and I think, I was saying it before on the news that, do you know like 2006, Ronaldo came back from the World Cup and he just felt like a different player. And we saw the same almost with Rashford this season. He just had another sort of gear, another twist, another turn, another sort of pizzazz, if you will. I've got a little feeling we might see that with Mason Greenwood when we come back, because they basically had a pre-season actually that's triple the length of, or double the length of a normal pre-season. I've got a feeling there might be someone or a couple of players who come back from this and look like that sort of new season, new player type thing.
So where did that come from?
Yeah, like they've put a couple of pounds of muscle on. They've just had time to sort of nurse a couple of injuries they've been kind of holding on to for 18 months or so. And someone, and I'm hoping it will be Greenwood, might just be like, he's a new man. So I reckon United are in a good position for that. But
I'm going to throw one at you as a potential.
Go on.
I don't think he starts, actually. But I think he obviously is going to play a very key part in this coming back. And I think, well, there's two actually that this could be. The first one is Marcus Rashford. Hasn't had a break in 4 years. Has played probably close to a year injured. And now has had a substantial amount of time off. In that time off, I think we've seen the growth in him as a person has been sensational. He is almost like a full ambassador at the moment. It's been absolutely flawless. And I wonder if that is going to start to translate onto the pitch. Are we going to see the sort of leadership that he's displayed as an activist in the city? Are we going to start to see that displayed on the pitch? Now he's fit. Now he's not carrying an injury and worried whether he's actually going to get through a game, whether he comes onto the pitch confident now that he can ride a tackle, confident that he's probably going to see a game out, not wincing or needing injections to get through a game. And I think we could really see another gear. Like Marcus took a step up this year, injured. An injured Marcus took a step up.
Yeah.
What might a fully fit Marcus be possibly able to do, especially with Bruno Fernandes playing behind him? And then the other one I was going to touch on, if Paul Pogba's settled with the idea that he's probably not getting the move, might we see Paul Pogba come into this and go, let's have it. I'm having it now. I'm here. I'm back. I'm staying.
And there's part of me as well that thinks, with the door, because everyone's been thinking, oh, Bruno and Pogba together. Obviously, that's going to be great if, let's assume, some sort of bromance or whatever. That would be nice. But also what it may do is these are some of the most competitive human beings on earth. Paul Pogba has been the top dog at United for the last 3 years. He might be sat there thinking, you know what, Bruno? I'm going to prove to you and prove to everyone that I'm the best player in this team. And Bruno's probably going to go, you know what? I'm going to prove to you that I'm as good as you are. You think you're the top dog. And a bit of competition, a bit of who's the best midfielder in the club, all of a sudden you've got someone to rival each other. There was no question for the last 4 years who the best midfielder at Man United was. It was Paul Pogba. And now there's a question, and now there's a chance for Pogba to sort of obviously kind of pull together with Bruno. But even if it's a little bit of, you know what, watch this, I don't mind a bit of that. It'll bring the best out of both of them, something we haven't had in years. So, yeah, I think Rashford as well, like you said, he's obviously had this back injury, but his ankles and his feet and all the, you know, since the Liverpool game last year, which, like you said, is like a year ago, he's been playing with injuries, hasn't he, or thereabouts. So, yeah, seeing him with what has already been a sort of step up in his performances on the pitch, and now he's had a chance to sort of nurse all of those injuries that he was playing with before, it might be just fantastic, honestly. It's
not just that as well. There's something that it's not really been discussed in the public, but he had something called Osgood slats, which was a type of shin splints and growing pains related issues in his knees and his shins, which meant he was in a lot of pain for 2 years while he broke into the first team. Yeah, and there was a time when we played on a AstroTurf pitch.
Oh yeah. Was that the one under Van Gaal where Van Gaal was furious in the Europa League, or was it?
It was under Mourinho. It was under Mourinho. Okay. I think he played on a plastic pitch for England, and he come back and he was in tears, crying. Yeah. And Mourinho had a go at him and said that he did it on purpose. But there's obviously these issues that he's been dealing with quietly off the pitch, which is why I think that I think the mental break, knowing how competitive he is and the drive that exists within him, I think, and we saw the skill from him in that little clip from training the other day, which was quite frankly outrageous.
Absurd.
Oh, I think we're going to see a serious Marcus Rashford take to the stage. So that's the first weekend of fixtures. Yeah. The following weekend, we've got FA Cup back. We thought it was going to bin it, but United have got Norwich away in the FA Cup. You got Chelsea and Leicester, possibly the other favourite for the cup in there, I would say. I'd say the winner of those two games, very likely to be one of the teams that ends up winning it, I would think.
Well, City is still in it as well, aren't they? But it would be hard to see, they've still got Champions League, haven't they, City? So they've got sort of a bigger fish to fry situation and know what Guardiola's like. Yeah, exactly. Know what Guardiola's like. I wouldn't be surprised for him to kind of prioritise that Champions League, because I reckon, when was the last time we saw an upset in the Champions League? Or even a remote upset? I guess Chelsea, but they were, a decent side. Who was it before that? Was Porto the last one?
Liverpool in 05, really. Yeah,
Liverpool 05. So I reckon this year is a perfect year for someone to sort of sneak through the cracks and have a bit of a shock win of the Champions League. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them maybe prioritise that. Like you said, Chelsea-Leicester, that's great for us, isn't it? When two other difficult sides get drawn together, it's just great. It's like, I don't know if you've played much checkers, but if you have, when you get it and you can go in between someone's pieces, so you know that they can only move one away, so you're definitely taking one of them. That's what happens when Leicester and Chelsea get drawn together. You just slide in that piece in between two of theirs, and one of them's going.
Okay.
So exciting.
Checkers references and everything on here today. The FA Cup's coming back. Premier League is back. By the end of this month, we'll have probably seen 3 or 4 games, which is
Yeah. So good.
It's good.
And when's the Europa League return? Do we know?
Supposedly the domestic stuff's going to get done, and then there's going to be like a post-season for all Champions League and Europa League, possibly played at a central location. Very much thinking about playing it all in one country at least. Poland would be where we'd be looking to play the Europa League, with the final being in Gdansk. Which, do you know what, it's a nightmare. If we do get to Gdansk and we do get to the Wembley finals, it's a shame we're not going to get to go. It is a real shame that we're not going to go, because I fucking love them trips.
Do you think there's a chance, though, maybe not the FA Cup or that kind of final, but let's say that the Europa and Champions League stuff is in sort of mid-August. That is 2.5 months away from now. Do you think there's a chance that they allow some fans in, or there's no point? This season, 0.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could. Although I've been seeing a lot of Twitter and Instagram videos of enormous gatherings of late, and it might be interesting to see if there's any sort of blowback from the virus on those fronts. But I can't imagine any governing body's like, yeah, fuck it, 40,000 people, let's have it.
No. Well, maybe there'll be like a sort of 5,000 people or some, I don't know, yeah, that doesn't seem feasible either, does it? You got like 10 chairs around you so you can't touch anyone. Yeah, no, let's just behind closed doors, fill it up with sex dolls like they did in South Korea, job done.
Exactly, yeah. Right, we've also got La Liga Returns, which, as we were saying, is a strange one because they only just sort of went back to training like yesterday, I think.
Yeah, and they're coming back before us.
Yeah.
They're coming back not this weekend, next weekend, the 11th. How have they done that? There's going to be so many injuries there. Premier League have had like over a month training, and they're going to have had like two and a bit weeks. That's mad, isn't it?
So 11th of June is the first day of games back, and Sevilla have got Betis. Barcelona begin their defence on the 13th of June against Mallorca, and Madrid begin on the 14th versus Eibar. Are you ready for this, Joe? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? There's going to be a game every day.
Fantastic. I love a game every day.
Behind closed doors, so you're not going, but there's going to be a game every day until the season's complete on the 19th of July.
Nice. That's great, isn't it? There's almost a game every day with the Premier League as well, isn't there, when it comes back, and like 4 games. So it's
Go
just
Sports!
Like the World Cup.
Yeah, it's the local World Cup. Yeah, one, you can't go.
Yeah, which I couldn't go to the World Cup.
There's going to be games on every day. Now, I loved the World Cup in our office. It was sensational. I mean, I was at work about 22 hours a day for it, but we was covering everything. It was so good. I mean, you get in, you start prepping, game. You finish one game, quick bite to eat, game. Talk about the games, go home, get up, game. And there's going to be that sort of level. I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. La Liga, exciting.
It is exciting, and it's nice to see as well, although Bayern have sort of pulled away from Dortmund now with that win last week, but the La Liga, when they came back, there's still a title race on. The La Liga, Bundesliga, sorry, La Liga, still a title race on. Premier League, don't worry about that, but it's United, so we don't care about the title race. It's nice to see there's actually like competitive games. If Barca were 12 points clear, you'd just be like, well, they're coming back, but I can't be asked to watch. You know, Madrid are top, aren't they? Or if they're not, it's within a couple of points. So it's all very, very
pretty
tight.
Sure Barca are. But I don't know, actually. I haven't even looked at the table, to be honest with you.
Have you not?
I just looked at the fixtures. Because this is the fixture list, Joe.
Oh, yeah, of course, sorry.
If it was called the league table, then I'd have been prepared.
I'll have a look.
And before we talk
2 points clear, Barca.
Right. Before we talk about our next topic, we might be going doing this next week. So we get to see each other again because now you're from a distance. We're now allowed to socialise with people. So what we are going to be doing as of we're going to go shoot it next week. For next week's fixture list, we're going to be coming at you live, but not really live. It's recorded live from the golf course.
Yes. Yep. Finally, we get to actually do a sport, go to a sport here. It's a shame it's under these circumstances, but you're not considering golf a sport.
No.
Just long-range darts. What is it that you call it? Long-range darts.
Outdoor pub game.
Yeah. Well, I don't mind an outdoor pub game because indoor pubs are illegal. So going to the golf course, hitting some balls. I might have a few tricks up my sleeve. That's all I'll say. Be careful what you wish for.
I'm getting drunk, mate.
Some golf. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You're driving?
No, I'm not. I'm getting dropped off. That's when you know it's on. And you're like,
Yep.
see you later. Pick me up in about 10 hours. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm so excited. So it's Alex's golf course where he works.
Not his golf course.
No, imagine if he owned a golf course. We'd be there all the time. 9 holes though, innit? So we ain't got the full 18. We've only got 9 to sort of show how good we are. I'm excited. Have you ever played golf before?
Once.
Where was it?
Newquay.
Okay. Was it a good course?
I don't know.
What would you say is the best part of your game? Your driving, your tee work, your short game, your chips and your lobs, or your putting?
None of the above.
You just heard the word chips and got distracted, didn't you?
I just drifted off a minute. Chips would be belting. I would say the thing that I bring to the table with golf is patter.
Okay, right. So you just take the piss out of everything.
Bingo.
And sort of throw the flag like a javelin at people.
I lost 11 balls in 18 holes.
That's not that bad. It is quite bad because they're not cheap, are they? If you buy them from the clubhouse, they're like £6 a pack.
Listen to what I'm saying. Lost. Not misplaced and found them again. They were gone. They were gone. Yeah. They was we're not even looking for that.
No, not to mention the other dozen that were just way off the course, but you could find them.
There were plenty where he was like, should we take that one again? Okay.
Yeah.
My old gaffer was one of the army golfers. So he was in the army golf team, and it just low key he was like, look, me and you, we'll go to the course. I'll teach you how to play golf. I am open minded. I tried skiing, I've tried surfing, I've tried all these different sports, and I was like, no, played golf. I'll go play golf. He then told me I've got golf Tourette's, which is, for those who don't know, is every time you hit a ball, you go, fuck.
Yeah. I think most people have that.
And then, we lost loads of balls. And then he went, yeah, it's not for you. And I was like, I figured that. So I don't think that's going to go very well.
We're going to see Alex hit a golf ball for the first time ever as well. That'll be exciting. That's
going to be here's what it should have looked like sort of scenario.
Someone who's genuinely very good at golf. And then I would say, my aim is to beat you. That's my only aim.
Are we actually being competitive here? Because I was literally coming for a booze up.
Well, yeah, it's a competitive booze up. We've got to see who wins. It's got to be against each other, surely.
What if we did it this way? This would really even it up, wouldn't it? However many strokes so the idea is to win, right? But however many strokes it takes the other person has to drink.
What, as in the difference?
Maybe, yeah. So you might win the round because the hole because you potted it 3 quicker than I did, but now you've got to do 3 penalty drinks, which levels us out for the next round.
Right, okay. But then what happens is if you see yourself losing a hole, you just take 40 shots on that hole so that the person's bladdered for the next hole.
But
actually, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any issues here.
No, that sounds great.
So yeah, we are obviously going and checking out the golf. The latest UK government guidelines, which allow 6 people to meet socially distanced, has allowed golf clubs in England to reintroduce the 4-ball format. I don't know what that is. From the 1st of June. Golf industry bodies have said as part of the phased return to play, up to 4 golfers from 4 separate households may now play together in one single group from the 1st of June, which suits us because there's going to be 3. Well, it's actually going to be a 4th, isn't it? Because we've got a professional with us, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Alex is bringing one of his mates who's a professional, and he's going to help teach us and probably piss himself laughing at us, which I'm sure is going to be a right barrel laugh. So this week's show, I believe there's something like that. Next week's show, we're going to be doing sort of in between the holes on the course. And we'll also be vlogging it for the members on YouTube as well. Or if you're one of my patrons, you'll get it too. But I was saying, in the last Fixture List episode, obviously we discussed the match, which was what we've got on the side here, which is Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning versus Phil Mickelson and Tom Brady. If you didn't know already, the winner was Tiger Woods and Peyton Manning. Following that, there are talks to make the match an annual event featuring Woods and Mickelson, as well as other athletes and celebrities, and they managed to raise and donate over $20 million to charity and a COVID-19 relief effort. That's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah.
Did you see that shot? I didn't see any of it. I just saw that one shot by Tom Brady where he chipped it in from about 50 yards into the hole. Someone was taking the mick out of him. And he was like, all right then. And they chipped it in. just rolled straight in the hole and it was just going straight over to him. I can't remember who it was now. It was a guy who I've seen commentating on basketball stuff, so I don't know. But
the only golf I've watched is, do you know what I did this week? I don't know if this is how much I'm missing sport or if there's other reasons for this. I rewatched the whole of The Last Dance in one sitting.
In one sitting?
Yeah.
I still haven't watched episode 10, so the fact that you've watched it twice and I haven't even finished it yet, that's quite startling. One sitting, that must have just been your whole day. What day was that?
It was on the weekend. Sunday, was it? Missing me hangover?
Fantastic. Was it good? Was it as good the second time round?
It might have been better.
Yeah.
Because you can just deeper get into it. Watching because it was 2 episodes a week, wasn't it, that was releasing?
Yeah.
That was a bit annoying. But no, getting it into one sitting, really get the flow of what they were doing in terms of the documentary. But there's quite a lot of scenes on there where Michael Jordan's playing golf and he ain't all that.
Do you think?
I think he's got golf Tourette's as well.
Yeah, but he played it all the time and would bet against people. I reckon he's one of those people that is actually really good, but when you're used to only watching professionals on telly, like, do you know when you watch any football film and you can see it's actors playing football, and these are probably pretty good actors at football, like I bet they've got some academy experience and stuff because they will try and get football-y actors on, but they look shit, they can't run properly, they can't kick it, pass it to me, and then they're jumping up for headers like dropping their head on it and stuff. But I bet they're actually pretty good footballers if you played against them. But because you're only used to seeing professionals on telly, Michael Jordan's like, you can't even hit that 25-yard putt. Tiger Woods sinks them every weekend. I bet if we played against him, he would destroy us and take all our money as well.
Well, hang on. Let's have a quick Google. What was Michael Jordan's golf handicap?
Oh, there you go. Find out that way.
Because we actually know what that means now.
Yeah, and the good thing with golf is
it's a 1.
And he's not all that. He's not all that.
Okay.
About handicap, though, one of the great things about golf, and maybe the only great thing about golf, is that a shit player can play against a good player and have an even match. That is a good concept, isn't it? I do like that.
Yeah, because they don't do that in football, do they? Like, me and you couldn't turn up to Old Trafford and play twos against, like, Rashford and Bruno and be like, what's our handicap? 400?
Yeah, my handicap is that my ankle's hurt, and his is that he's £270. Like, that's our handicap. Oh, right, we don't care, we've just battered you.
And we're both shit left footers. Yeah,
and we'll give you some free shots.
Yeah. Well, if it was if they give us a half an hour to play against Bruno and Rashford, I actually think we'd need a 400 handicap. But if the final score was like 403 to 4, and we had a 400 handicap, we win.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just give you goals.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy to predict goals, whereas on a golf course, you can pretty much predict what a good player will go round in, which is why a par score is there. So, yeah, it's impossible to do on any other game, really.
Oh, loads of fun if you
did. In theory, you could beat Michael. Imagine you playing with like a 40 handicap. I know they don't go up to that. Playing against Michael Jordan, and you beat him. Imagine how fuming he'd be. And you take like.
Well, that's the thing, innit? He is the most competitive person ever. It'd be like, I think you could be walking down the street to him and go, $20 to beat you to the next lamppost. He's like, okay. I just think he's just bowed it, and I think he just fucking lives for that sort of shit, which you gotta love, really, haven't you? I've really enjoyed The Last Dance. Obviously, watched 20 hours of it, so really enjoyed The Last Dance. We still have one more sport to talk about, and then we have the thing that's not quite a sport, but we're definitely talking about it. Boop, UFC. It's on every week, near enough.
Yeah, I know. They've gone mad, haven't they? They've really seen a gap in the market in terms of people beating the crap out of each other, and they've smashed it since lockdown. Well, I mean, almost to the point of, what are you doing here, lads? This is actually unsafe and ridiculous. But at least it's on brand with how Dana White likes to control his
I've honestly
organisation.
Struggled to get excited for UFC in this pandemic problem. And without giving too much away, I think I could hint at something and you'd probably figure it out. One of my friends might be appearing on one of these in the very near future, shall we say. I'll let you lot figure out who it is because he's not announced it yet. And I'm not happy about that either. I think he's got other things he should have focused on, but it is what it is. Speaking of getting smashed, Amanda Nunes is fighting.
Yeah,
she's fighting Felicia Spencer. Let's look at the odds. It's 1-6 for Nunes, 7-2 for Spencer. do we see any sort of upset here? Because actually, because I've watched amateur fighting, because I've watched the World Championships, which are generally done in empty sports halls or arenas, watching fighting is less egregious to me with no fans than watching football is. But I wonder how much it still plays in. Do you think there's going to be any sort of issue with Nunes, perhaps? Or do we think she's just going to come and steamroll like she always does?
That's what you've got to hope. If you're Felicia Spencer, you've got to hope that Nunes is sort of disproportionately affected by the situation. You saw, I can't remember who it was, there's a fighter in his corner the other week saying, it's too freaking quiet in here, but without saying frickin'. So it's obviously playing in people's minds. They're obviously, hearing the commentators shouting stuff must be weird. I know they can sometimes hear them anyway, but it's like they're as loud as your cornermen and stuff.
Yeah.
So there's definitely strange things happening there, but I mean, she's 2-1 in the UFC, got beaten by Cyborg, and she looked decent against Cyborg, Felicia Spencer, but not, never close to winning. And we saw how Amanda Nunes dismantled Cyborg. I can't see it. I think she's the best. I think she's the best women's fighter ever.
Ever.
I can't see anything other than a win for her. But again, 1-6. Even if you know she's going to win, it's hard to bet on that, isn't it?
There's no value in 1-6.
No, and there's no real value in 7-2. You want 15-1 or 10-1 to have any chance of,
which is what it really should be. It really should be somewhere up there. There's no value in backing either fighter in this scenario. No. I think one of the things that you've got to hope for, like you're saying, if you're Spencer, you coming into this, if you're anyone coming into any of these scenarios, is you've got to hope that training hasn't gone smooth. You've got to hope that a cornerman got caught up or got the virus and hasn't been able to attend, or you've got to hope something in the general flow of how people prepare has been disrupted enough to have an impact on how they roll. UFC 250.
I know, it seems like it should have a bigger, no offence to Amanda Nunes, like we said, one of the greatest, probably the greatest women's fighter of all time, should have more bigger card, bigger names than that. 250, that's massive, isn't it?
Do you think we'll see Conor fight behind closed doors, or do you think he's going, fuck that noise, let's keep...
No chance.
Because there's 10 million on the gate we're going to lose, or whatever, isn't there?
Yeah, no point. For him, there is no point in fighting... I know, obviously, he's got enough money, so you can kind of think, well, he don't really need the money, so he might do. But I think he's such a showman, such a... sort of the way he does things is so forward-facing, so public-facing, the press conferences, the public, all the... picking people up and stood in front of the crowd with his posing and all that sort of stuff. Like, there's no way he's doing all that in front of an empty crowd, is there?
Yeah, in front of one of the Nevada State Athletic Commission guys in them red blazers just coughing at him.
Yeah. Yeah, that. And this is it's like, coughing, get him out. Yeah, there's no way. But I'm surprised that the card isn't a bit more stacked than it is. But
pretty ordinary,
surely there's no way that we see. Like I said, though, with the training, maybe it's been disrupted, obviously, with everything that's going on, but maybe it's one of them where, Amanda Nunes has got a sprained wrist, but she's still going to fight, or she's had a chest infection, or, there's all these things that happen with fighters where people come in with some horrific injuries and start fights with them. So you never know. There's always a chance of an upset, which why it doesn't quite seem that 7-2 or 1-6, neither of them seem quite right. I would maybe go for picking a round or picking a method of finish rather than just an out-and-out winner.
Joe, is any horse racing on this week?
There's always horse racing on, Steve, according to Ross.
We've even got it down there in the catchphrase now. You can't see it on your screen, but we have got there's always horse racing on. So, right, Newcastle signalled the return of sport to the UK with its first of the sport to the UK with its first meet on the 1st of June. Got my words mumbled up then. Irish Rations focusing on NAS for the 8th June return with jumps again starting at the start of July over in Britain. Everything's going to be behind closed doors for now, but racing is finally back. Lingfield, Newcastle and Newmarket seem to be the courses that are hosting the majority of the behind closed doors at the races at the moment. And across the weekend, you've got the 2,000 guineas and the 1,000 guineas that are going to be held. Favourite for the 2,000 guineas. Isn't it mad how they've just kept hold of what was a prize from Christ knows when and just gone, there's no sport like that no more, is there? Anyway, so...
They're not even trying. They've got furlongs and hands for measurements and stuff. Come on, lads.
So you got 11 to 10 with Paddy Power. Clear favourite is Pinatubo. Don't know much about him. Never met him. Never interviewed him.
No. Don't know.
Probably, yeah. Should we go out on a limb here and say he's a quick horse?
Yeah, he's probably a really fast horse.
Dead,
that one.
proper fast. He's been described as.
Now this is behind closed doors, obviously, isn't it? And I've heard a rumour that these are actually going to be jockeyless to help with social distancing. It's just going to be a carrot on the thing that, do you know where they put the hair on the dog racing thing? Just a carrot on that going around the inside of the thing, and all the horses are chasing after the carrot. Is that true? Any truth in that?
I'm going to say no.
Okay, right.
I'm going to say no. Okay. And the favourite for the 1,000 guineas is the quadrilateral, which is at 5 to 2. So there might be some value there, either just going straight on quadrilateral or in some sort of a double. If you was going to go back both of the favourites, I reckon the crowd affects horses less than it affects most other sport.
Yeah, but the horse is one of the few animals that has to wear little blinkers because they're scared of people.
Not because they're scared of people. That's because they're scared of the other horses.
Is it?
Yeah. Mate, there's 20 other horses giving it large. And he's like,
like
fucking hell, what's going on? Why are we all running? That's crowd control, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine so.
You'd assume, though, they wouldn't be put off as much by no cheering.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Is there like world records for like courses and stuff? You never hear like 100 metres horse world records and stuff, do you?
Oh, I bet there is. Oh yeah, there's got to be a course record. Like, I bet the Grand National Aintree probably got like a record for the course. Definitely. Definitely.
But they change the jump heights and the distances and stuff, don't they, with courses? But I don't know. I'd love to see like the 100-metre horse world record from a starting crouched down like that and then just up.
Or would it be better? Would it be better to start on your hind legs as a horse and fall over the line?
Oh, nice, yeah. Yeah, it might be. Like on Speedway where they're in the little cages and then they just fall onto the front legs and then they're off. That'd be lovely.
Here's a tip for anyone who's just going back to school, maybe. Or if you're just someone who likes running. If you're going to be doing a standing start, don't lean forward. You want to lean?
Really?
You want to lean backwards, yeah.
What, like, who is it, Ben Johnson who used to run really upright like that?
Yeah, because if you start from low down, you rock back before you go forward. So you want to stay back and go forward.
Interesting. See,
unless you're in the blocks. Obviously, you're in the blocks, you're in the correct position to explode from. But you can't explode leaning forward. You have to go back to get the momentum going. So you want to get the momentum going.
Why does it feel so intuitive to do that lean forward thing then? Just because you see everyone else doing it?
Yeah. Unless you're going to get into like a proper sort of wrestling stance with it.
Yeah, really. Like,
just the sort of just that sort of half-assed, can't quite read what's in the shop window, lean forward ain't doing anything for you. There you go.
That's good. I like that.
Used to do a bit of running back in the day.
Did you?
Yeah, about 6 stone ago.
I like how you got your time in stone. It's like light years, isn't it? It's the time it takes you to gain 6 stone is how long ago that was.
Like, honestly, you won't believe. Me and Ronaldo had an unbelievable discussion about sprinting and stuff for ages. I used to run for East Cheshire, and I came second in Greater Manchester as well in 100 metres. What,
100 metres, really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's good. That. What was your personal best? Do you know?
10:80.
That's good. Under sub 11 is very quick. That is really quick.
It was the only reason I ended up as a professional rugby player, I think.
Because you're really quick. Were you one of the fastest at your club?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't big, and that was an issue because, I had a good work rate and I had a good tackle. And I always, I would say like the most outstanding attribute was if I got the ball and was gone, I was gone. But I didn't like taking it in. I preferred to do the tackling. But one of the things that I did, which I think was a bit of an outstanding quality, because I'd probably do it like once a game, or it felt like it was once a game. Someone would burst through the line as we're defending somewhere, and I would always get them, probably 20 or 30 yard, but I would always fucking catch them, ball and all tackle, wrap them up. That felt like it happened all the time. That I would get out the line and I'd manage to get back and catch them. And I reckon that was probably one of the reasons that I ended up doing as much as I did, but I didn't have the size at the time, coincidentally. Tried for so long to put some fucking size on, retired, boom, there's the size, chilling.
There it is.
Fuck's sake. I was 11 stone, couldn't put any fucking timber on whatsoever. Couldn't move.
Really?
But yeah, very, very quick. That was it, yeah.
I bet if you'd have carried on with the sprinting, I bet you could have got under like 10.5, I bet.
No, I don't
Do you think you were at your limit?
Yeah, I was thinking I was at my biological limit. There's just a fucking line where you can get to, and I think I was very, very close to it. And we had a geezer called George Brown, and George Brown was it was something to do with GB Athletics, but he was Salford's strength and conditioning coach, and he did a lot of straight speed work and sprint work, and actually Peter Schmeichel had him as his personal trainer. So once a week that dude would be a missing, and he'd have flown to Lisbon, because it was when Schmeichel was at Sporting Lisbon, and he used to fly him over to do work with him, and then fucking fly him back to Manchester, where he would like come and do bits with Salford and that. But he was a beast, him, yeah. And we spent so long working stuff. And we even did, because thinking back, this is fucking stupid and irrelevant for rugby, but we did like I did more block technique of starting at Salford rugby team than I did for East Cheshire.
Really?
So in terms of like the technique of getting out the blocks and stuff.
That's weird, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's all about a low crouch and keeping your fucking head down and powering through. There's like 4 or 5 phases of a sprint through the 100 metres. And a lot of holding your breath.
Yeah, it's pretty anaerobic, isn't it, sprinting?
Yeah.
Well, at that distance. I've watched so many videos of sprint training and all this stuff. I've never done any of the things you're describing, but they all ring a bell. I like the slow transition to being stood up. I like the pumping the arms through, trying to keep your arms and your legs on as straight a line as possible.
Yeah,
you don't want
come laterally across your body.
It
has to go side.
Yeah, keep it tight. You're like a shark swimming through air. That's what I heard.
And try and... I don't know how you try and do this, but it was always told, try to minimise the contact of your foot with the ground. So you want to skip the ground. You don't want to land on the ground. You want to claw the land and throw it behind you. High knees and really driving with the arms. Like the emphasis on your arms is huge in terms of how much you pump. And it's weird when you look at the build of sprinters, they're fucking jacked.
Yeah, they're massive.
They're absolutely jacked, and you're like, what's the crack here with the weight? Because wouldn't you be better being skinny? But obviously, it's
well, that's the thing. If you'd have been more muscly, you might have been faster.
But I was fairly muscular, but I wasn't being able to put real size on. I was lean. I was lean, and I mean, I've still got big quads now. I had like fairly disproportionately big quads for the size of me. I mean, yeah, my fucking quads are ridiculous at the moment because they've got a fucking right load of timber wrapped around them as well, but. You know,
the pigs in blankets at the minute, aren't they?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, it's hard finding shorts. But I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it. And I did enjoy the training for it, and I did enjoy the development of that. But yeah, it was probably the reason why I got as far as I did in rugby was just because I wasn't getting fucking caught. I would at school it wasn't even comparable. There was no one in school that could come anywhere close to me, so I'd fuck about. I'd like, during you do like school sports day, I'd let everyone get to like 10 metres before I started and stuff.
Yeah, show off.
Yeah, proper. Oh yeah, being a right dick. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was,
and also, go on, sorry.
Oh, I was going to say there was one. I was running for East Cheshire, and we got deducted points for this. So in athletics meets, the running club was funny, right? Because you used to get points for every event that you won. Came second in or came third, and then they'd all be accumulated, and that would go into a league table, and you'd be deducted points if you fucked about, like I did. But you would win points for every event that you did. Now, sometimes they would be like, "Steve, can you go and do long jump?" Why can I do long jump? Well, because you're fucking quick, and that helps off the takeoff. So just do it, and you'll come third, and that'll do for us. Sorted.
Yeah.
One of the lads called Danny, they used to make him do the pole vault. Because nobody else did pole vault. So he would get over something that was honestly like as high as this table. And then you get the 10 points and you would win it. And he never trained it. He just brought a pole to the meet. He would do like 1,500 metres. And then he'd be like, oh, pole vault time. All right, yeah, sound. And then he'd jump over and then boom, my finger. But there was one particular race. There was only 2 other people in the race. And 100 metres was quite a popular event to be in. But there were only 2 other runners in them. And when you look at them and you go, right, okay, I don't know how you 2 have ended up here, but this is not going to be a fucking difficult race. So I shot off, and I got to the halfway, and I looked around at halfway, and I was like, I think they've not even started yet. And then for the last 10 metres, I walked, and then I got fined.
Oh, no. Full on Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt pretty much did that in the Olympics and set a world record. And he didn't get deducted any points.
No,
walking is bad. That's like when, do you know when you go around the goal and you get on your hands and knees and head the ball in?
That's exactly what it is.
That's the sort of the sprint equivalent of that.
That was actually the last time I raced as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Tell you what though, how old are you? 35?
36.
36? Sprinters keep sprinting till late 30s. It's one of the sort of longest longevity athletics, isn't it?
It's because
it's weird.
It's a strength thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there's three components of sprinting. There's power, which obviously you develop as you go older. There's leg turnover, this is where Usain Bolt's weird, because Usain Bolt does not have a fast leg turnover, which is why he's perceived as being slow out of the blocks. But the guy's 6'7". Most sprinters are 5'10". They're my height. Most sprinters are. There is literally a height for sprinting. But what he does have is, because he's got outrageous power, he doesn't have the outrageous leg turnover. Like Cristiano Ronaldo's got an unbelievable leg turnover, like a brrrr, but he doesn't have the stride length, which is why he'll never be a proper sprinter. But Usain Bolt has the stride length. So you need power, stride length, leg turnover. If you get all of those things, you'll run fast. Which is why Ronaldo suits it for football, because the constant lateral movement, the changes of direction, suits a very, very short leg stride stance. And obviously Usain Bolt probably wouldn't be that good at football because of how big he is and how wide his stance is. He's probably not very agile. But
you would. The only time he could sort of like that long stride length isn't so good over sort of 10, 20 meters, is it? Whereas it's better
40,
over
60,
100.
yeah.
And in football, it's short sprints in it, which is why, like I said, the power and the leg turnover Ronaldo, but with the short stride length, way outsuits the opposite end of the spectrum, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's mad how you can go, oh yeah, he's quick. But what does that translate to in terms of, in terms of the sport specific stuff? But yeah, I fucking loved it. I really enjoyed it. And sprint training, when you go to a running club and you do sprint training, it's the easiest training ever. You probably do like 10, 15 starts and then so much walking about and posing and stretching.
Yeah. And I bet a lot of it is just sprinting. How much like long distance stuff do they make you do just to so you get fit or not?
Probably did like 2 lots of 400 meters as a warm up to make sure your legs were warm. Then you probably do some plyometric stuff, quite a lot of box jumps. To get warmed up, and then there would be again it would focus heavy on the technique. So you do a fair bit of block work, because the blocks is very, very important. And then you would you'd probably only in a session, you might do 6 full 100-meter runs, but you're doing them 45 minutes in. And and then you'll probably rest in for 4 to 5 minutes before you do the next one.
It sounds great. And it's the coolest one to do. 100 metres is the coolest one.
Shortest night out, isn't it?
Yeah, because everyone knows what a good time is. Everyone knows roughly how quick they are at it. You don't need some fancy equipment. Everyone's done it at school. You know what I mean? It's the most understandable. It's the sort of the best and most relatable. And it's also the fastest human being on earth is what you get called at the end of it. Whereas like Mo Farah's sort of the fastest person at running from here to Liverpool. But what's that like? I don't know. It doesn't quite have the same
anybody
thing,
going like, you didn't fucking run it in that time, listen, I fucking did. I think the times were published, but I ran so long ago that you never find in them fucking times. But it was the McDonald's League, and it was East Cheshire Harriers that I used to run for. So the times will be out there if you can be asked. Going searching.
10.8 dead or 10.8 what?
10.80 was on the nose. Yeah. And it was at Robin Park in Wigan. If you want to look for the event, I don't know when it was. It would have been fast. It would have been 99 or 2000. If you want to go and search for it. But the thing is, I was nowhere near the fastest in my age group. I might not have even been top 50 in England. There was people sort of 10, 3, 10, 4 by the time you get to that age. Because you're not far off being. You're a professional runner next. Then there's the step after that. And when you're talking about like Olympic level, they're 10.2s.
Yeah.
Like that, you're not coming close to that. And no one. I think I was very, 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 very close, if not right at my limit of how fast I was going to go. I didn't feel like there was ever more in the tank. I thought that was me. Like That was probably about as good as it was going to get. But there was lads where you go, yeah, you probably have got a sub 10 in you. And if you've got a sub 10 in you, then you can go and do it. No, I was only just sub 11. So you're fucking miles away from...
Sub 10 is Olympics, isn't it?
Yeah. I think that's... I think the qualifying for the Olympics is 10-1. I think. Yeah. I think so. I think even to think about competing in the Olympics, you've got to have a sub 10 in your locker.
I'm pretty sure I've seen people get to Olympic finals with over 10-second runs, like in the sort of heats and stuff. I'm pretty sure you don't even have to go sub 10 to get into the Olympic final every time.
Well, I think British squad qualifying it, you've got to be in there. I think you've got to be a sub 10 runner though. So I think on the day, if you snuck in with a 10:05 or something like that. But I think if you want to be, consider like Britain's always had quite a strong sprinting team. I think to be in the Britain sprinting team, you've got to be thinking about sub 10s, sub 10s. Yeah. So sub 11s. It sounds impressive to people that aren't fucking runners, but honestly, I probably won 3 or 4 club meets for our age group, but I wasn't the fastest in Greater Manchester for starters. And I wasn't anywhere fucking close to being the fastest in England. But I was quick enough at rugby, which is all it needed to be. Righty, should we fucking call it a day there?
Yeah.
I think we should.
It's been good, though, isn't it? I love this.
I love it even better when we fucking can do it next to each other rather than through bleeding Skype, which actually has been very stable.
Yeah, it's been all right.
Weird. Right, cheers everybody for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Go check out what Joe's doing over on Stretford Paddock. And we are holding trials again pretty soon, probably within the month. So keep an eye on socials if you're interested. Don't ask me when they are because I do not know when they are. But keep an eye on socials. We'll try and give as much notice as we can as soon as we get a date booked in. Once we have a date booked in, trust me, you'll hear about it because we'll be plastering it everywhere. But cheers for tuning in. And we'll see you in the next one. Laters.